Hi friends, thank you for joining us again for Adventures in Reading. Today we are going to do an activity that relates to the book The Gingerbread Man Loose in the School. If you haven't read this book, go back and watch our first video, but for everyone else, come along, we have some baking to do. First of all, we're going to look at the U.S. customary system. Then we will talk a little bit about fractions and their importance in baking. And my favorite, lastly, we will get to bake our own gingerbread man. Let's get started! When baking, it is important that we know our units. In the U.S., our units for volume are part of the U.S. customary system. Today we will go over the gallon man, which is a quick visual image that can help you see the conversions. Our first step is to draw a big G, which represents a gallon. Inside of the gallon, we are going to draw 4 quarts, which are going to be represented by Q's. So here we can see that 4 quarts make up a gallon. Inside each Q, we are going to have 2 P's, which will represent pints. From this image, we can see that 2 pints will make up a quart, and 8 pints will make up a gallon. Finally, in each P, we will draw 2 C's, which stands for cups. This visualizes how each pint is made up of 2 cups, so there will be 4 cups in each quart and 16 cups in each gallon. In our recipe today, we will be using cups and fractional parts of a cup. That takes us into our next discussion. Fractions can be difficult, but an easy way to understand them is if you think about it in this way. First, the numerator, which is the number on top, is the number of parts that you have. And the denominator, the number on the bottom, is the number of parts needed to make a whole. In our recipe today, we are going to explore this. Be sure to look out when the flour is being added into our recipe. The recipe calls for 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. When doing this, we add 1 cup straight into the dough. Then we represented the next cup by putting 2 half cups into a 1 cup measuring cup to show how 2 half cups make up 1 whole cup. And lastly, we still needed 1 more half cup, so we added that into the dough at the end. So we would have enough flour to make our gingerbread man. Now let's make some gingerbread men. Children, remember to ask a parent for assistance in making these cookies, especially when using the mixer and the oven. First, we are going to put a stick of butter and a half cup of dark brown sugar into a mixing bowl and mix with an electric mixer until smooth. Then we're going to add 3/8 of a cup of molasses, 1/2 a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 egg. We're going to mix the ingredients until they are all combined. Next, we're going to add 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. We will mix this until it makes a nice dough. We had to mix by hand when the dough became too thick for our mixer. Now it's time to cut out the gingerbread men. First we need to put some flour on the counter so the dough doesn't stick and roll it out until it's about a 1/4 inch thick. From this, cut your gingerbread men out and place them on a baking sheet. You will need to bake the men at 350 degrees for about 6 minutes. Remember to ask a parent or guardian to help you use the oven. Once they are done, take your gingerbread men out of the oven and let them cool. When they have cooled, place the gingerbread men on a plate so you can decorate them. Use your favorite icing and candy to create your own gingerbread men. Then enjoy eating your yummy cookies. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to check out our other amazing videos.